Let's get to your book.
Yeah.
You write a book and it's specifically focusing on unaccompanied migrant youth.
Okay.
What are some of the most surprising and impactful stories that you uncovered during your 6 years of research? And also, ethically, because you're dealing with a very vulnerable population, how did you approach that? Because there are going to be people that are going to be a little apprehensive about talking. So
Mhm.
how did you approach that ethically?
Yeah. So I'll say, to answer the first question, some of the most impactful or surprising components of the work, I would say, thinking back to that first moment when someone told me, go to that Starbucks on the
Mhm,
corner, the whole thing threw me off, right?
mhm,
I had come to the interest of studying undocumented Central American youth from the perspective of youth organizing. I was involved with the immigrant youth movement, with the sort of organizing around deferred action for childhood arrivals in 2011 and 2012. I was involved with this organization called Dream Team Los Angeles, named after the Dream Act, right? And the
okay,
Dreamer movement.
mhm,
So when I came to realize that there were unaccompanied youth garment workers, I was just like, I thought we were all at college, right? I thought we
right,
were dreamers. I thought we were cap and gown wearing like a population. Um, so the whole concept was shocking. And at the time in 2012, the term unaccompanied wasn't in my vocabulary. I sort of came up with this term unparented, right?
mm,
Because they had brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles living down the street, but what was missing was the parent.
mhm,
Um, And that obviously, one of my dissertation advisors was like, "Well, don't they call their parents back home? They have parents. They're parented, but just not in the way," right? So I
right,
was like, "Thank goodness unaccompanied is a thing now because that's actually what I mean." So the whole concept was fascinating, impactful, and threw me for a loop. Um, One thing that I try to capture in the book is two potential pathways of coming of age because I talk about immigration in the way that sociologists of migration do as an incorporation question. How
mhm,
do young people experience the arrival, settlement, adjustment, that whole process, right? Which we call incorporation. I try to map that onto the transition to adulthood. So these two passages happening at the same time. Um, what struck me in doing that work is that there is a material component to being unaccompanied, in that young people have to work to survive and they experience deep poverty and they're hungry and they can't buy the pair of denim pants that they want, even though they sew denim pants all day long in a factory,
right,
right? There's that material component, but the transition to adulthood brought with it the emotional component,
mhm,
right? My body's changing. I have my first crush. I don't have friends. The all of the angst of being a teenager coming into young adulthood, and then the emotional component of being the sort of satellite member of the family that remained behind. Yeah, that remained behind. Um, so all of these, I'm tracking these two passages and then I'm tracking two processes, right? The material dealings and then the emotional effect, and how those two things are interconnected. The poverty hurt their feeling, right?
yeah,
The I work so hard and my family is still suffering hurts their
mm,
feelings, right? There's this all this interconnectedness. Um, and the last two chapters, sort of data driven chapters of the book, are about young people who experience a positive adaptation, is chapter 4, and young people who experience what they call in Spanish perdición, which is translated to perdition, a deep
mm,
sense of loss. So I see that as like emotionally and materially positive adaptation, emotionally and material negative perdition. Um, and that the differentiating factor between the two is meaningful social relationship.
If you like that clip, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to catch up on all of our latest content. Don't forget to hit the notifications button when you do subscribe so you can get updated every time we release content. We release content every day, whether it's an actual show or clips from the shows. So go ahead and subscribe, like, comment. Also, don't forget our Patreon page where you can find our Talking Straight-ish and After Hours Uncensored episodes. That's patreon.com/unsolicited perspectives. But once again, thank you again for listening to Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, and I'm going to catch you next time. I'll holla.